Hey, what's up? Barnaby here along with Todd, domestic sales here at Klein Tools. And we got all sorts of really great stuff here that usually a lot of people would say, oh, those are electricians' tools, but they can also be HVAC guys' tools as well, right?
That's exactly right. So what we've found is actually the quality that Klein bakes in and builds into every one of our tools. It translates into exceptional value, whether we're dealing with an electrician, an HVAC technician, a plumber, etc. So among the professional trades, what they're really looking for is a high quality product.
Right, and smartly designed, like this adjustable wrench. I mean, how awesome is this? It's got all of the width of a 12-inch in a much smaller package. So explain how that's going to benefit you.
We've actually built in an 1.5 inch capacity into this particular wrench.
Yeah.
Of course, it's great for many different electrical applications.
Oh,
however,
sure.
What HVAC technicians have come back to us saying is that they love using this product to get into tighter spaces when they're servicing, for example, expansion valves, on a condenser unit. So again, it allows you to get into tighter spaces and actually work on larger nuts and bolts.
Right, because it's a lot of around the corner stuff, right?
Exactly.
You got to get into tight spaces, and that's why I think it's so smart that you've got this aperture right here that it goes up to a full 1.5 inch, but you've got etched markings here, so you can kind of pre-dial it in before you stick your hand in and around the corner, knowing that you got a 1/2 inch nut you're going to be dealing with. There you go.
That's exactly
ready to go,
correct.
right?
That's right.
Okay. Well, and speaking of dark places, let's talk about this right here, because a lot of people, they use fish tape, but when fish tape goes in, you don't know where it is on the other side half the time because it's just a piece of metal, right?
That's right.
This is glow-in-the-dark stuff.
That's right. So one of the, a very common thing that we found a lot of HVAC technicians do, there's a lot of motion now to switch out old thermostats and actually install new smart thermostats, which would basically be anything that you can link up to your cell phone, because you want to be able to control everything on your phone now, right?
Right.
And so a common practice, retrofit, is actually to pull off the old thermostat and put this new one on.
And those are some tiny wires.
There's some little tiny wires. They're of course bundled in as they're coming in from the wall.
Right.
But they're not mostly, usually they're not run through conduit. I mean, depending on how old the residence is.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's common that those wires can actually fall back into the wall, and we followed around HVAC techs, watching them use anything from bent clothes hangers and things, fishing in, trying to grab that wire and just bring it back. What we've done is we've developed, of course, our Splinter Guard fish rod set. This particular set, when it's fully assembled as you're doing, it's going to reach a 9-foot length, which is perfect actually for going in and fishing in the wall. We also have glow-in-the-dark technology built on this, so it does add a little bit of illumination. It just makes it easier for that technician to find the wire, use the hook, grab it, and pull it back.
Yeah, and because it's fiberglass, there are some fiberglass rods that have like little spurs on it, but this has been coated, so I can just handle it with ease. And the reason I assembled it is for the flexibility factor.
That's correct.
Right? I mean, it's not just a solid piece. This will get around a little bit.
That's right. The other nice thing about the Splinter Guard technology, not only does it protect your hands from splinters, but it also adds a little bit of thickness to the shaft of the rod here. And what that means is at the coupling, if I'm going over an edge, pulling around a wall, it's not going to get caught up. It actually is a smooth flow. And relative to a lot of the competition, that gives us a leg up.
It's great, the thought that goes into all these.
That's right. We actually watch technicians, again, working in different professional trades, electricians, HVAC, etc. We watch them using our products. We also watch them, of course, using other manufacturers' products, and we try to figure out, okay, how do we make that product better? How do we make it perform better for them?
Okay. Then you got the non-contact voltage tester.
That's right.
Yep. So let's talk about the HVAC guys with this.
With regard to the HVAC guys, all of them are looking for low voltage functionality because the thermostat voltage is coming in at a lower voltage. So a typical non-contact tester, which would maybe measure 50 volts to 1,000, is not going to get down into that thermostat range. You have to go down to the 12-volt range for that. What we have in our NCVT3 product, this is a product that it's not dual range, but it's actually a full spectrum range non-contact voltage tester. What that means is at any given time, this thing is monitoring for any voltage between 12 and 1,000 volts. It's very easy to use. It's a simple on-off button there. And what it also has is it has 5 LEDs when I turn that on. If I'm measuring low voltage, I'm actually going to get maybe 1 or 2 bars to illuminate, as well as an audible tone. At 120 volts, if I'm taking a measurement there, I'm going to get 3 bars and so on and so forth. Anything over 3 bars means that I'm probably dealing with something over 120 volt.
Okay.
For the HVAC guys in particular, the low voltage functionality, and the other thing is again, to your point, they're oftentimes working inside the housings of furnaces or working in condenser units. There's a lot of nooks and crannies there with a lot of shadows, and it's tough to see. So we added in a 25 lumen LED flashlight,
nice,
which is extremely bright, and it actually leads the industry as far as a non-contact voltage tester mixed in with a flashlight.
Good to have in the bag.
Exactly.
Alrighty, and then this guy, when is a screwdriver not a screwdriver? When it's an 11-in-1, and it can also work with Schrader valves.
That's correct. So this particular product was designed specific for an HVAC technician. Over the winter, oftentimes outside, there is a little Schrader valve that keeps the refrigerant gas inside the system. Those things can collect debris over the summer, and then in the winter that debris freezes, it expands a little bit, and you actually have a Schrader valve can go bad. So what happens when that valve goes bad, the refrigerant escapes, and a very common fix is to actually replace that whole Schrader valve. Right. After being in HVAC for a number of years, we actually heard, hey, do you guys have something to help me to remove a Schrader valve and repair that? And so we actually built in the Schrader Valve Core Remover into our multifunction screwdriver. So this particular tool is going to have all of your Phillips, all of your slotted, as well as the ever so precious Schrader valve, ever so important Schrader valve, to again back those out and tighten in a new valve.
And some hex drives in there as well, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
You also have your 1/4 inch, 5/16, and 3/8 nut drivers.
Yeah, awesome. Alrighty, and then lastly but not leastly, certainly is one of my favorite things from Klein, the bag that does everything.
That's right.
I mean, not only is it very comfortable to carry around, but this is one of the greatest developments ever.
That's right. So we have a bag, it's our lighted tool bag, and there's a couple ways that this brings value to the technician. The light actually clicks in place here, so what happens is you're able to illuminate the inside of the bag there, as you can see. But what was happening is our technicians were coming back to us, our focus group, saying, hey, that's great, to be able to look in, but now I've got this really nice flashlight. Is there a way that I can actually use it to help me to complete my job task?
Sure.
So our team came up with the idea of a removable light. It can either be installed in the bag to actually shoot outward towards
kind of
the
a work light, right?
Or perfect for HVAC folks, especially if maybe they're servicing a blower wheel or something in a furnace unit. What they're able to do is this has a magnet on the inside, a rare earth magnet. They can clip this light, it'll actually stick to the metal. They can use it then to illuminate the surface, and it frees up both hands for working. If they're dealing with a non-ferrous item, we also built in a hook so they can actually hang it, and it does a very nice job as a work light as well.
And again, to open up the bag and just give you a look-see inside, plenty of space for your tools, keeps them nice and orderly, and then the bottom is weather resistant.
That's exactly correct.
Drop it, put it in some wet space, and it's not going to
It can
suck
be
it up.
snow, water, rain, everything, all the elements. That plastic bottom will definitely protect it. It also adds a nice rigidity and strength and keeps the bag upright when it's filled.
Alrighty, all good stuff, man. Thanks for
Okay.
that. And when you're on the job site, talk to your brethren in the trades, the HVAC folks, and say, hey, you know what? There's plenty in the world of Klein for you as well. Or just share this video with them, or tell them to join Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and that'll get you into the Klein stream of consciousness. And as well, the Tradesman Club, an awesome thing, because not only are you part of a big community by joining that, but also you get some free stuff now and again as well. So all good stuff all the time, talking about Klein.